I know you're good. I appreciate it.
I think Pete said this is where we're supposed to
Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the Bellina's home. Matt, Caitlin, and their three boys, JP, Kip, and Pax. My name is Pete Palestina, and I'm a member of the Marine Corps League Patriot Detachment and a former supervisor here in Northampton Township. I was asked to MC and facilitate this event, which I gladly accepted, with a lot of help from Stacy Mulholland. We are here to honor Matt Bellina with the dedication of this flagpole and the raising of the United States and Navy flag, both dedicated by friends who will speak later. Can everyone hear me?
No.
No? Feel free to move up onto the grace. You don't have to stay in the street. So again, we are here to honor Matt Bellina with the dedication of this flagpole and the raising of the U.S. and Navy flags, both dedicated by friends who will speak later on. So without further ado, we will have a color guard post the colors and a flag raising detail raise the flags. That will be followed by the singing of the National Anthem by Hailey Brown and the Pledge of Allegiance by one of the Boy Scouts. Color guard, present the colors. Flag detail, raise the flag.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Now I'd like to call up Star Scout Reed Stoltz, who will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard, retire the colors and dismiss. Again, welcome to all of you. We do have some officials in attendance that I would like to recognize. Northampton Supervisors Barry Moore, Eileen Silver, Kim Rose, and Frank O'Donnell. Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. State Representative Helen Todd. Many of you know of Matt Bellina, a retired Navy Lieutenant Commander, and his ongoing battle with ALS. And some do not know him, but are here anyway to honor a veteran, a Northampton resident, a family man, and a courageous person afflicted with a chronic and debilitating disease. And rather than me telling you about Matt and his fight, we have special guests who will do so. Our first speaker will be Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Brian?
Thanks, Pete. Thank you all for being here, for Matt, for his family, for all of his friends, and just going to read a few remarks here. A little bit something about Matt that everybody should know. On April 9th of 2014, at the age of 30, Matt was diagnosed with ALS, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease. ALS attacks the nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cords, causing those with ALS to lose control of their muscles. Matt graduated from Virginia Tech in May of 2005 and received his commission into the U.S. Navy as a naval aviator. Following the onset of his symptoms, which included cramping hands, twitching arms, and stiffness in his legs, Matt was grounded from flying. He continued to serve in the Navy in an administrative capacity until he medically retired in 2014 with the rank of Lieutenant Commander in the U.S. Navy. He eventually moved back to his home in Bucks County with his wife Caitlin and his children to be surrounded by family and friends, as he is today. Although this disease stopped Matt's career in its tracks, he persisted and actively involved himself in the ALS community and became a strong advocate for what has become known as the right to try legislation. The President signed Matt's right to try bill into law, and for patients caught in between traditional drug approval delays, clinical trial process for which they don't qualify, and limited time, this bill that Matt championed gives patients a new pathway to potentially life-saving treatments. Matt has been a champion, a hero. He's been an incredible advocate, not just for us here in Bucks County, but the entire ALS community. There is no question that that piece of legislation would not have been signed into law without Matt Bellina, and he has been an inspiration on so many fronts. He's been an inspiration in the fact that he served our country, our nation, in dangerous environments as a naval aviator. He served our country helping to get a critical piece of legislation signed into law without which it would not be signed into law. And he served as an inspiration really just based on the human being that he is. You know, it's a high honor to say somebody's a good leader, a courageous servant of our country. Those are all very, very high compliments to pay somebody, but the highest compliment you can pay to someone is to say they're a good person, a good human being with a huge heart and a passionate soul, and that's what Matt is. And everybody that knows Matt, myself included, know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that he inspires all of us. Anytime we think we have it tough, look at Matt and look at the positive attitude that he exudes every day. Matt never has a bad day. He may have a bad day physically, but his positive attitude is an absolute inspiration to myself, to Jim Worthington, to the Newtown Athletic Committee staff, to all of our friends here. He inspires each and every one of us. And I just want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be in this heavy heat and humidity to serve a cause bigger than yourself, to honor a true American hero, Matt Bellina. Matt, we love you, buddy.
Thank you, Brian. Jim. Our next speaker is Newtown Athletic Club owner Jim Worthington, who, by the way, was designated the Dom Giordano Patriot of the Year. Jim, the mic is all yours.
A little brief story about how Matt got to the point where he is today. He walked into the NAC 3.5 years ago to join, and during that conversation, he had asked the salesperson if anybody was aware of any fundraising activities for ALS. They immediately directed him to Linda Mitchell, our charitable giving director of Have a Heart, our foundation, and a 37-year employee of the NAC. And we got Matt involved in what was called, we renamed it Matt's Mission, where we raised money for ALS and the cure for ALS. We had been involved in it for a number of years, but when Matt came on board, it changed the whole face of what we did to where we were raising $50,000, $100,000 a year. And then I think it's probably more that he's got a good-looking wife, but we stepped it up and started raising $500,000 to $1 million a year. And again, it was named Matt's Mission. During that time, Matt and I became very close, and his family. Guess you could predict this one. So I said to him, Matt, you know, you have 3 to 5 years is what typically 90% of ALS patients live. And he said, I said, what can we do? And he said, well, there's this bill called the Right to Try. This is like 2 years ago. Of course, we had no idea what that meant, getting a bill passed. We should have checked in with the congressman and his brother, but we just thought, hey, that's easy, let's get that done. Next thing you know, we're down in Washington, and Matt's speaking in front of the House, in front of congressmen, senators, and we're meeting the president-elect at the NAC, and when we had that, and just to clear the air, I think it's kind of an interesting story, because it was so controversial. When the president asked to come to the NAC, we told him on one condition, and that was if he met with Matt Bellina, myself, and Linda Mitchell to discuss the right to try. If he was not willing to do that, there would be no rally at the NAC. And he met with us for a good 25 minutes. And at that time, it was the first time the President of the United States heard the phrase right to try. Matt educated him. He's a smart guy, told him what it was. And from that time on, we had the president's ear. And then Matt, throughout the next year and a half, had a relationship with the vice president, worked tirelessly to get him down there. I know I'm going on and on, but one funny moment was when I was pushing him past Trump Tower, and we hit a little stone in the road, and I flipped him straight off his wheelchair right to the ground. And so we've been through a lot together. But the bottom line is, I'm not sure people here realize the magnitude of what Matt and 3 other families, the Mongellos, the McGlyns, the Wendlers, along with Mike Fitzpatrick initially, and then this man, Brian Fitzpatrick, carried the water from there on. 90% of us here today are going to die from probably a disease that at some point you would see your doctor and they would say, go home and get your affairs in order. Think about it. Not a car accident, maybe somebody like me, or maybe I'll get shot, but most people are going to die from a terminal disease. And up until a month ago, you would just go home and get your affairs in order. Oddly enough, the day after this bill was passed, my sister, who had pancreatic cancer, I got a call from my nephew coming up from Washington after the bill signing by the president, and he gave me the sad news that she was in hospice and it was too late for her to try the right to try. Bottom line is, every one of us now, because of the work that Matt Bellina did and the support of the congressman and those families, now you don't have to go home and just get your affairs in order. You can actually go ask your physician, what can I do to prolong or save my life? And it's amazing to think that as an American, you didn't have that right until a month ago. So if you don't think what Matt Bellina has done is not changed your life, and all Americans, then you're just not listening. Matt, you're a patriot, you're a hero, you're my hero, and I love you to death.
Thank you, Jim. Next up is Victoria Bliss and Tom Caulkins from Newtown, who will talk about why they purchased the flagpole and flags, what they do, and then we'll introduce Paul Hoffecker as the next speaker. Vicki and Tom.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Congressman. Special thanks to, thank you, Mike Fitzpatrick, Stacy Mulholland, Pete Palestina, for pulling this wonderful ceremony together. And thank you all for being here today. I'm going to read from some notes so I make sure that I don't forget anything or leave anything out. My husband and I first heard the name Matt Bellina early this year. I remember the date very well. It was January 30th, and we were in Congressman Fitzpatrick's office discussing his approval of the budget for additional littoral combat ships to be built. My husband's Tom's company manufactures the doors, scuttles, and hatches for these Navy vessels, so we had a lot to discuss. But even more memorable about that day is the State of the Union address was to be delivered that evening by President Trump. You could just feel the buzz in the air on Capitol Hill, and we asked the congressman, how can we get an invite to the address? We just thought perhaps our timing being on Capitol Hill would somehow get us there and get us in the door. But the congressman explained to us that he could take just one guest, and that individual was going to be Navy veteran Matt Bellina. After further discussion with the congressman about Matt and the right to try legislation that they were working very hard to pass, we had to meet Matt, and we did. Thank you, Congressman, for connecting us. Matt and his family has captured our heart and those of our staff, and we have a heartfelt congratulations for getting the national right to try act passed into law. By the grace of God, Mr. Paul Hoffecker sent us information regarding an initiative he started called the Flag Campaign. Paul is the founder of and the CEO of the National Hyperbaric Association, whose mission is to advance the benefits and practice of hyperbaric oxygen therapy. He's also the founder and CEO for Renovating Hope, which provided disabled, adapted home remodeling and repair services to U.S. veterans suffering from service-related injuries. And prior to that, he was a consultant for New Day USA Foundation, which provides home remodeling services to U.S. veterans. Paul is forever giving of himself and is devoted to honoring our veterans. With his Flag Campaign initiative, Paul partners with individuals and schools, corporations, and organizations like ours to honor those who serve our country with a 20-foot flagpole and the United States flag and a flag for the branch of service in which the veterans served. The American flag stands as a lasting reminder in recognition of their service to our nation and signifies to them and their families that they have not been forgotten. My husband and I knew immediately that we had to purchase a flagpole and the U.S. and Navy flags through Paul's Flag Campaign organization and have it erected at Matt's home. And we were hopeful that Matt would be receptive. Matt, thank you for your service to our country, the sacrifice you and your family have made fighting for our freedom, and for the love you have for the U.S. flag. I believe Paul, we should. Thank you.
I'm not sure everyone understands what Vicki and I do. Vicki owns and I support an organization called Oxygen Oasis, where Matt has been receiving hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatments, along with the right to try opportunity pharmaceuticals that the law just was passed. So he's been treating at our facility for a number of months now, and it's been a blessing for us to have met him as we did. Excuse me. When we decided to engage with Paul Hoffecker and purchase the flagpole and the flags, we had to get it erected. And I knew there was only one person that we could turn to at that time, and it's Mr. Steve Balecki back there in the yellow shirt. He engaged immediately to make sure that this was erected. He did it in about 3 days from a call to action. So Steve, thank you. We appreciate your support. Additionally, Congressman Fitzpatrick just handed me this accommodation and to present to Matt and his family from the United States Congress. In this box is a flag that flew over the Capitol, and an accommodation that is to your family that you want to keepsake. And it was a great opportunity for Brian to let me present this to you and your family. So thank you for your service, Matt. It's been our pleasure to be involved in your life and to offer support and treatments. And we're going to continue to offer support and treatments as long as they're needed. And that's a commitment from Vicki and myself, and Jim Worthington has stepped in to help, and we'll reach to the community, and we'll just keep the fight going. And we're in your corner, and we're in your corner for the long haul. I want you to know that. Thank you.
The citation from the Congressman says, "The flag of the United States of America, this is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol at the request of the Honorable Brian Fitzpatrick, Member of Congress, presented to the Bellina family in recognition of their courage, strength, and determination," and is signed today by Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Paul?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for turning out and honoring Matt as you're doing here. One of the beauties of what I do for a living is I get to go to communities like this and get to see who really is out there, cares about their veterans, and then comes out and honors them in this fashion. What we've done nationally is just scratching the surface. I see a lot of the fire department, first responders, notice the supervisors here, state representative. I had the pleasure of meeting with Brian Fitzpatrick at his office in Washington. Let me tell you something, what you have here. You have something very, very special. From the congressman all down, you have something that people care about, and you turn out and do something about it. To my left, after her kind words, Vicki Bliss with Oxygen Oasis. I know for a fact I could have picked anyone nationally to partner up with from the National Hyperbaric Association. Right in your community, you got one of the top 1-2 in the country. It doesn't get better than that. I think it's so important that once you know that veterans are living amongst your community, and for this symbol right here, raising the flag, it means everything to our veterans and to our service members. Some of them, it actually helps them progress in life because somebody honored them or there's a flag on their property. Thank you for doing that. And I say to you, there's thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of veterans now, as well as service members. If you want to do something for Veterans Day, if you want to do something for Christmas, as a family, find a veteran, get us in front of them, or we'll get in front of some veteran for you, and we'll do what you're doing right here now. God bless you for what you're doing, and let's go America. Thank you, Matt, for all you did.
Thank you, Paul. Is there anyone else that would like to say a few words? Matt, I'm going to turn this over to you. I can come down there if you want to say something. That would be my honor. I don't think I've sweat this much even when I was in the Marine Corps. It's pretty hot out here.
Thank you all for being here. You know, you guys up there said a lot of nice things about me, but for me, you know, I look at that flag and I'm thinking about the community that came together after work in the heat, stand in my front yard and watch that flag go up. And for anybody who has served or will serve, I can tell you that this is something worth defending. I love that flag because I love all of you. This is what it's all about. You know, we always talk about disagreement on the news and what divides us as a country. But it's funny, when I look around, I don't see that. I see people that want to come together and respect each other like you all do for me today. I'll never be able to thank this community enough for what it's done for me and my family. And I'll think about it every time I look at that flag. God bless you all.
Thank you all for participating in this event on this hot day, and thank you, Matt. God bless you and your family. Keep up the good fight and the good work you bring to the table. We wish you the very best, and everyone here sends their love your way. Thank you, sir. With that, there are some refreshments there. You can get out of the heat. And again, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you.